I am tired, for I have done a hard day's work. You ought to rest now. I think I will. We are in no hurry, for we are very comfortable here, and storms don't come very often. It was late in the afternoon when the work of getting out the boat was finished. Noddy had labored very hard, and he was perfectly willing to rest during the remainder of the day. Molly made some tea, and they had supper at an early hour. It was a remarkably pleasant day, and the air was as soft and balmy as a poet's dream. Both the young workers were very much fatigued, and they sat upon the deck till dark. "Where is my father now?" asked Molly, as she cast a nervous glance towards the beautiful island which they hoped to reach on the following day. "Where is he?" repeated Noddy, surprised at the question, and not knowing what she meant. "I mean his remains." "In his stateroom," answered Noddy, very reluctant to have the subject considered. "Will you do one more thing for me, Noddy?" demanded she, earnestly and impressively. "Certainly I will, Molly." "It shall be the last thing I shall ask you to do for me." "Don't say that, for I've always been ready to do everything you wished me to do." "I know you have, Noddy, and you work so hard that I don't feel like asking you to do any extra labor." "I will do anything you wish, Molly. You needn't be afraid to ask me either. If you knew how much pleasure it gives me to work for you, I'm sure you would keep me busy all the time." "I don't wish to wear you out, and you may think this is useless work." "I'm sure I shall not if you want it done. If you knew how sad it makes me feel to think of my poor father lying in the water there, you would understand me," added she, bursting into tears. "I know what you mean, Molly, and it shall be done the first thing tomorrow." "Thank you, Noddy. You are so good and so kind. I hope I shall see Miss Bertha sometime, and tell her what you have done for me," continued she, wiping away her tears. They retired to the forecastle soon after dark, and when Molly had said her simple prayer for both of them, they lay down in the bunks and were soon asleep. Noddy's first work the next morning was to rig a mast and sail for the long-boat. In this labor he was assisted by Molly, who sewed diligently on the sail all the forenoon. While she was thus engaged, Noddy, without telling her what he was going to do, went into the cabin carrying a boat-hook, and, with a feeling of awe amounting almost to superstitious terror, proceeded to fish up the body of Captain McClintock. He knew just where it lay, and had no difficulty in accomplishing the task. He dragged the remains out into the cabin, and floated the corpse in the water to the foot of the ladder. It was an awful duty for him to perform, and when he saw the ghastly, bloated face, he was disposed to flee in terror from the spot. Noddy was strong for his years, or he could not have placed the body on the locker, out of the reach of the water. He prepared the remains for burial precisely as those of Mr. Watts had been. The most difficult part of the task was yet to be performed, to get the corpse on deck and lower it into the boat. He procured a long box in the hold, from which he removed the merchandise, and found that it would answer the purpose of a coffin. By much hard lifting, and by resorting to various expedients, he placed the remains in the box and nailed down the lid. He felt easier now, for the face of the corpse no longer glared at him. When he had bent on the sail and shipped the rudder, he contrived to set Molly at work in the forecastle, where she could not see what he was doing, for he thought his work must be revolting to her feelings, especially as it would be very clumsily performed. Having put a sling on the box, he rigged a purchase and hoisted it out of the cabin. Then, with suitable rigging, he lowered it into the boat, placing it across the thwarts amidships. "Come, Molly," said he, in a gentle, subdued tone, at the forescuttle. "What, Noddy?" asked she, impressed by his voice, and by his manner as she came up from below. "We will go on shore now." "Today?" "Yes, but we will return. The boat is ready, and I have done what you asked me to do." "What?" "Your father." She was awed by his manner, and did not readily understand what he meant. He pointed to the long box in the boat, and she comprehended the loving labor he had performed. She did not inquire how he had accomplished the task, and did not think of the difficulty